Hola mi gente, this is Dr. 𝐒𝐮𝐲𝐞𝐫 coming to you with another episode of Level Up, Unfiltered and Unapologetic. This week is all about Super Goal Sunday. We all have goals. We all have things that we want to achieve in life. And before we start to blame motivation for being the driving factor to get us to our goal, what about the initial plan? Let's talk about it. There's just something so exciting about a new goal, about a new year starting fresh, a brand new page, clean slate. But the reason why we trip up on goals and we don't follow up with them is because we rely too much on that hype energy from the beginning. That novel, that dopamine rush, all that excitement that you get about having something new to focus on, that we don't realize that that's just an adrenaline rush. That's not gonna be enough to motivate us through, especially if the goal is really far out. So what do? In order to make sure that our goals are going to be successfully accomplished, we need to start from square one, the strategy. The best offense is a good defense. Plan. Consider all the options, consider everything that you want to accomplish and that you want to achieve. Think of all the possible outcomes and then make a plan. Keep in mind that this is just a blueprint. This is just a foundation, and this is just a rough draft to help give you guidance to get to your end goal. Stay open. Be flexible. You never know what's gonna come your way and throw you off your path if it's different from what you initially planned. That's okay. Don't throw it all out just because something threw you off course a little bit. Take a step back, deep breath, revisit your initial plan and see if this might actually be something that can work towards you and help get you to your goal even better. Number 2, don't bet more than what you're willing to lose. Don't bite off more than you can chew. If you overcommit to your goal in time, in money, in energy, it's just gonna leave you gassed at the end of the day. Investing more than what you have is already gonna put you in a negative. That means you have to work that much harder to break even and then to come up with a profit. So be mindful about how much you're putting into a goal. As exciting as it may be realistic. The return on your investment is something you need to consider from the very beginning at the starting line. This will lead you to a much greater chance of not failing before you even get started. Last but not least, and most importantly, don't let the loss define you. Just because you might have had a little hiccup or a failure or a false attempt at getting to your goal does not mean that you are a failure. Go back to that initial plan. This is why that plan is so crucial, because it's going to ground you in a moment where you feel that things might not have exactly gone the way you would have wanted to. Go back to plan. This is your home base. This is where you're going to go back and you're going to give yourself a moment to reflect on what could you do differently? What could have gone differently? A failure is just an attempt to revamp. Go back, revisit, revamp, restructure. And when you come to realize a failure really isn't a loss, it's just an opportunity to go back and reevaluate. What's most important from everything that I shared with you today is don't rely on the hype, don't rely on the excitement, don't rely on these things that you don't even have control over. But what you do have control over is your plan. What is your strategy? Don't bite off more than you can chew. And don't define yourself based off of how much you're accomplishing and what you're not. That's what you're doing. That's not who you are. So go back to your drawing board. Now that you know all of these new tips and tricks for goal setting, you might be surprised how much better the journey to your goal might be this time around.